start, my name is Irene Mendez. I am the Global Program Specialist here at Rice Global. I work with the student programs with all marketing of the courses and also pre-departure for students. I'm the one that provides all that information. And I'll pass it on to you, Steve, to do introductions, and then you can go ahead and start your slideshow. Just as an FYI, this is the information session for Mastering Global, sorry, I need to make sure I said that. Mastering Global Technical Leadership. It's an RCEL 350 course that's going to be taking place in Paris. And we'll do information about the course first and then general information about the program itself and have time for questions at the end. So Steve, take it away and then we'll go back forward.
No, thank you, Irene. Thank you very much. And students, welcome. I thought what might be a fun way to introduce my course and maybe my teaching style is to make this interactive. And at the moment, Zane, you're the student that is here. I don't know if it would be possible for you to unmute and just introduce yourself briefly. Hi, Zane.
Hey, I'm the only one here.
But I'm sure more students will come in, and we are recording this for those students that were not able to attend, so they can see this at a later time. But Zane, tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in this course.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm a freshman. I'm just trying to explore different options. I've always wanted to study abroad, and this seemed like a great way where I could learn about what I'm interested in. You know, I'm a computer science major, so anything within that realm, the leadership and engineering sounded interesting to me, and being able to study in Paris sounded cool. So yeah, just trying to learn more about that.
Well, fantastic. Well, I'll go ahead and share my screen. And Zane, if you don't mind, it sounds like you're in a safe place. You can just unmute yourself because my presentation is going to require some audience participation, and I would appreciate this is almost just for you, but it'll help the other students watching. So let me share my screen. Let's go here and let me go ahead and animate. And I'll do the presentation first, and then we'll go over the course. That is not. All right. So, all right, so we've got everybody online here. So welcome. So I'm the instructor, the professor for RCEL 350. Welcome. It's Mastering Global Technical Leadership in Paris, really giving you students the opportunity in Paris to further develop your leadership. Wherever it's at, I'm sure it's strong because you're at Rice University. But, you know, leadership is practice. It's something you continually must develop. And in the modern day, it's a flat world. Right, everything is global. So if you can take the opportunity, even as an undergrad, to develop your leadership, why not do it in Paris? So there's a great website that I worked together with the Rice Global Paris Center. There's a QR code, but we'll go over the website at the end. So Zane and students that are listening, just to break the ice, what's your favorite fictional superpower? So Zane?
Maybe flight.
Flight, okay. And what would it enable you to do?
I can get around places quickly, and just the idea of being able to fly around sounds interesting. Sounds cool.
All right. So the reason I like to ask this question in my leadership classes is that as you graduate from Rice, or you go to summer internship, or if you're going to grad school, wherever your leadership path takes you, when you first join an organization, or maybe you start your own organization, the superpower you're going to draw from is one of 5, but really it's expertise. So we're going to dig a little deeper into expertise here in a bit. But if you look into the research of power on how leaders are able to influence others, there's 5 types. There's legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, expert power, and referent power. And legitimate power comes from being a manager. You're somewhere in the leadership pipeline. You're given the authority to manage, whether you're in the government or in the sort of corporate or for-profit or nonprofit space. Reward power, coercive power, and referent power kind of are tied to that. But there is one that every student actually everybody can leverage right away, whether you're a manager or not. And that's the power that comes from knowledge, from having a skill. And that's what I'm hoping to get students excited about in my summer course in Paris, is how to lead from your expertise, whatever it is. And way to look at it, another way to look at my course is we'll blend your expertise or your interests. Zane, you mentioned computer science, and students that are listening, whatever your major is, your minor, or your overall interest, right? It could be related to business, science, social sciences, or engineering like myself, but it could be any expertise. But how do you blend it to lead today? And the challenge today is that every organization, every government, every nonprofit, every for-profit, actually every family, for the most part, is a technology-based organization, right? We have smartphones, we have cloud services. So your expertise needs to be able to leverage technology to lead. And this course is about you exploring your expertise, whatever you have at the moment, and your interest in technology, and blending those two to demonstrate and develop your leadership by a personal project that you're going to do to help sort of solve a problem that society has, right? That needs technology and leadership. So Zane, given that context, I'm going to ask you about your superpower, which was flight. But tell me, what is your current expertise? What is your technology interest? And tell me a bit about your leadership experiences.
Oh, I mean, I've just been doing a lot of like coding projects through high school, and then here I'm on like the coding club here. So just a lot of stuff like that. And then I guess for my interests, I don't know exactly what I want to explore through this class yet. I'm still trying to figure that out, but yeah.
Okay, but just you are at Rice, so in high school you must have been very successful. But from an interest standpoint, sort of outside of Rice University, you mentioned you're in the coding club, but your extracurricular activities, or maybe a club that you're part of that is not focused on technology.
Oh yeah, well, I played tennis through high school. I've been going to
Okay.
the tennis club here a bit, so maybe something through that.
All right. Yeah, sports are a great place for individual and team-based leadership. So you're off to a good start, Zane, and I'm sure every student that's listening, you have a passion, you have an expertise. You were probably born digital. I became digital, right? Because the world became more technical throughout my life and career. But you were born in essence with a smartphone in your hand. So technology is in your blood, so to speak, and probably so is leadership. But in my class, we're going to attempt to explore and help students like Zane really focus in on a project across these three areas. So what I'm going to share with you really quick, just to gain some credibility with you. When I joined a large organization many years ago, so I wasn't too much older than you are now. I started off as an engineer and then went into management. But initially, what I was leveraging was my expertise in engineering, a little bit of business, but from a technology perspective, I loved robotics even back then. And from a leadership perspective, I had already done some work in the Houston area with sea turtle rescue, rescuing sea turtles that are found sort of on the beach. But I had a real passion from leadership perspective with product development. So my story, which hopefully I can tell you in about 5 or 10 minutes, will blend these three, maybe to give you ideas about what my course is going to be about, exploring your interest in blending expertise, technology, and leadership in Paris. All right, so my background, so I grew up in Texas. I got lucky enough to go to MIT. I didn't go to Rice, but I went to MIT, then Stanford for graduate school, and I had 4 work experiences: Johnson & Johnson, 3M, Polaroid, and then my longest career was with Schlumberger, SLB now, almost 25 years. But I also gave back to the community. So I've been on the board of directors for the Health Museum. I'm on the board of directors for Collaborative for Children here locally. I've done a lot of stuff with K through 12 with Houston Independent School District, mostly around robotics. And then I went back to school to get my doctorate at the University of Pennsylvania. And now I teach here at Rice. So it's been a whirlwind. But if you take my class, I have lots of videos. So it's a flipped classroom where we'll make optimum use of Paris. We'll be doing a lot of field trips, but you're not going to have your head stuck in a book. I have a lot of videos that support the different content that we have. So when we have classes, it'll be more project-based and discussion-based. But getting back to my story. So back in 99 to 2004, it was a 5-year period. I was an engineer and I joined a big company, and I had robotics experience. And right up at the top, I was assigned to a new product development team that was trying to reduce the footprint of drilling. I used to have to drill many vertical wells, but now the technology had evolved by the late 1990s to be able to drill multiple wells from one footprint, which really limited its impact on the world, right? So I had to develop a tool in order downhole GPS. When you're drilling miles into the earth, you have to know where you're drilling. What are the coordinates? So I developed a tool that transmitted the coordinates up to the surface so they could guide this huge robotic arm to drill safely underneath the ocean or the earth itself on land. But I was very technical at the time, and Bernoulli was my best friend. So Zane, I know you're in computer science, but maybe you've taken physics, fluids a bit in high school. But I really knew robotics and fluids, but I was an artist at heart. You can see me dressed as Batman. And over a 5-year period, I blended my creativity, my artistry with engineering to come up with a solution actually inspired by the Batmobile. All right, so this is where creativity is important in leadership, no matter what you're majoring in. But I was able to blend engineering and my creativity and my love of Batman to come up with a solution, and it made $1 billion for the company. Not me, right? I got some stock options, but what you see on the right is the commercial advertisement for the tool that was developed. And this early experience, successful experience, was leveraging my expertise, which was growing my leadership within the company. And I was given the opportunity shortly thereafter to have this global management position where I was working with, in essence, the nonprofit arm of the company. And what you see in the back, and those, Zane, I don't know if you can see it, these little orange dots on the global map. These were different locations where the company that I worked with had operations. This is where they were providing services to clients that were looking for hydrocarbons or oil and gas. But everywhere we had locations, we would adopt a school, a K-12 school nearby. And that was my job, to engage with those schools and provide STEM activities for them to do. It could be programming, it could be doing different STEM activities like science experiments. But what I brought was my love of robotics and my love of sea turtles. So in short, over the next couple of years, I developed a strategy working with the company on a large sea turtle project that involved about 50 schools globally, and I led the effort. And it was fantastic, but it was blending together my expertise in robotics and my love to give back to the world. And here's a couple of pictures. I did set up a partnership with Texas A&M. I don't know if we have any Aggies, so to speak, in terms of. I don't know if Zane, if you have any Aggies in your family. I know you're an Owl now.
Oh, hey,
but I did.
If you're presenting your screen, I'm not able to see it.
Oh no.
Just want to let you know.
Irene, can you see my screen?
I can see it. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just in the wrong place. I don't know.
Do you have another window open, Zane?
No, I can see your webcam, but yeah, I can't see if you're presenting anything. I don't see it.
Well, what I'm gonna do is stop sharing and share again, because
Yeah.
the story was getting good. All right, and then let me share again. I'm down here. Let me hit escape, and I am going to share. I think I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen, Zane. Maybe that'll help.
Okay, I can see it now. It's good.
All right, so now I am going to expand, and you let me know if you can still see it. Let's see if it comes up here. Can you see the sea turtle, Zane?
Yep, I got it. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let me go back real quick. This is the picture where I had a global project, right? Remember, we're going to be studying global leadership in Paris. So I wanted to show you that, I wasn't too much older than what you are now. And I had a global project in hand. But I worked with Texas A&M, And for every sea turtle they would find at rescue, we sponsored a sea turtle satellite tag that they would put on the back, right? The sea turtle had to be a specific size. And then what would happen, and this was somewhat innovative, 20 years ago, the students in the schools around the world would be able to log into a website and track the sea turtles' movements. So it was fantastic, right? It got the students excited about sea turtles and, integrating a little bit of technology. And I didn't forget about rice even back then. I sponsored, so Zane, I'm sure your junior or senior year, you're going to have to do a capstone project. So back, almost 20 years ago, I sponsored a capstone project from my company here at Rice University to develop a robotic sea turtle. And you can see one of your fellow students with the sea turtle prototype, a robotic sea turtle prototype in their hand. And the idea was to mass produce these and send them globally to all the schools that we supported. So in 2006, I held a celebration for the project, and this gentleman was one of my mentors of the company. And he said, Steve, it's time for you to come back and develop more products. And I told him no, because my wife in the right-hand corner was about to have our son, or actually our daughter, our second. But then 3 months later, it was hard to say no. And I joined his organization there in the big company. And the day I started managing the project, my daughter was born. You can see that on the right. But I was in charge of managing a multi-million-dollar project of developing a robotic device to, in essence, go into horizontal wells, right? And over the next 2 years, I managed the team. We used some innovative management techniques to get people to talk together in a room. It's called an obeyer room, where all the data is visible on the walls of the room. But in essence, what the engineers did was practice their leadership every day in the meetings that we were having. And we grew as a team. And sure enough, a couple years later, the robot itself, we had to go through this obstacle course about the length of a football field. And we were able to successfully do that. And similar size projects in the past in the company that I was working with, it took 7 years to develop. We did it in 2. So it was the leadership that was developed within myself and within my teammates that enabled us to go from 7 years to 2 years to have a successful project, right? Really, that's what my course is about, is even when you start your career, right? Or even if you're a sophomore at Rice University, a junior, whenever you go to an internship or you begin your professional life, trying to practice some of these skills to allow you to accelerate your impact on the organization that you join. And of course, you have to sell it well. Before I get to the next slide, it did snow when we actually accomplished this. A couple of months later, it snowed here in Houston. It doesn't snow very often. It was a challenging project that not many people gave us, didn't think we were going to succeed, but we did, right? So we named the test track Tartarus, which is kind of, the hot place in Greek mythology. That's why I call this slide Snowball's Chance in Tartarus. But this snowball worked, and we celebrated. And my daughter, along the way, kept growing, and she's developed this love of robotics that I have. She blends robotics with dance. Now she's 17. But that's my story, where I blended expertise in business, engineering, robotics, my love of sea turtles, and product development. And getting back to you, Zane, and students, I want to reconnect before I get into the details of the class. What were your main takeaways from my story, Zane? Because I was trying to demonstrate my expertise, my love of technology, and leadership, blending those together to accomplish something.
Yeah, I think you definitely got across how you were able to blend those all together. Yeah, I think it was good.
Okay, thank you, Zane. All right, now to my course. All right, so the course is called Mastering Global Technical Leadership. And after that story, that sea turtle story, after that robotic device that I developed with the team that I was leading, I had kept moving up the management ranks. And sort of my last position with the company was a global position. I was called a global métier manager. And I was the bridge between product development managers and human resource managers to develop leadership in our global organization across 7 centers globally. I was developing about 800 engineers, scientists, and manufacturing personnel. And my course in essence, is sharing with you the knowledge that I gained by developing engineers and scientists across the global organization. But in essence, it was about blending expertise, your technology, and leadership to accomplish not just the goals of the organization, but the goals that you have for yourself. And that's the essence of the course. So let me pause there and we can get it. Let me stop sharing and I can go to the website. But Zane, any questions so far?
No, I'm all good.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, then let me just give a little more information. And I'm going to go to the website that is available to every student. Let me share that. And Zane, I do appreciate your attention here. I know you're the only student, but there'll be others watching this. Zane, I just want to double check. Can you see the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
All right, so this is the landing page. If you go to the Paris Global Center, you'll be able to see all the courses that are offered this summer. If I go back one, this will be it, right? This is the land page. So you may be, because of this, hopefully you're interested in this class, but there are a lot of classes that are being offered and you can go here to read about them. But for this course, Mastering Global Technical Leadership, it's going to be in essence, the last week of June, the first couple of weeks of July. And, oh, I thought this was going to pop up another window. But in essence, it's a 3-hour credit course. And the requirement from a student perspective, really, Zane, and students, if you have an interest in business, if you're in the School of Sciences, the School of Social Sciences, the School of Engineering, but you're interested in sort of in learning about global leadership in Paris, and this class is for you. Really, there's no hard prerequisite other than you're interested in developing your expertise, blending it with technology to build your leadership, to help sort of focus on some sort of challenge that society has. And we're going to be doing that by visiting. You can zoom in here. In the morning, we'll have sort of the class period where the night before you'll watch the videos, you'll come to class, we'll discuss the topic of the day, different concepts of expertise, of technology and leadership. I'm almost a broken record. And then in the afternoon, it'll be reinforced by trips at Paris. We're going to go to several museums. In essence, their science museum. I mentioned creativity, my love of Batman. It's important to learn about art. So we're going to go to the Picasso Museum. And then with my story with respect to sea turtles, it's important to help educate others. So we're also going to go to the UN or to UNESCO, their educational arm that's there in Paris. And from a leadership perspective, one of the whether he's infamous or not, one of the leaders of the French was Napoleon. So we're going to go visit the tomb of Napoleon and talk about leadership and his leadership style. And then to bring it together with the corporate world, we're going to visit the big organization that I used to work with. They have headquarters there in Paris and they have a product center outside of Paris. And we'll be visiting those two locations where you'll be hearing presentations from the leaders of that company, the current leaders, the technical leaders and business leaders. You'll get a tour of the manufacturing facility there, and we'll hear about their shift from, in essence, being oil field services company to now being a big player in reducing our carbon footprint and sustainability. So we're going to learn about their journey, and that's it. I think I can bring up the syllabus, but you can read the syllabus here online.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Steve. I'll go ahead and just jump in quickly and talk about the program. And then Zane, if you have any questions at the end, feel free to bring that up then. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. Again, Steve showed this in his flyer, but here's a QR code that takes you directly to the website. And I also put it in the chat, just the course page itself. And then just some fast facts. This is Rice Credit, so you would register for this course like you would any other Rice course. This is a 3-credit course, and the classes are in English. There is financial aid available if you're financial aid eligible, but even if you're not, or if you are both, you can also apply for Rice Global Tuition and Travel Awards. And that's directly on the application of the course itself. There's questions about that. So make sure you answer those questions if you're wanting to get an award. It's not it's not merit based in any way. We just want to get students out there, so just indicate the need and we try and help you as much as we can to get you out there. What's nice about these courses is they're 3-week long courses, so you can do this and also do other opportunities during the summer as well. Sorry, can you see my screen? I didn't check if you could
Yes,
see it.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
This session is June 27th through the July 17th. So classes will be held at the Rice Global Paris Center, which is actually in the Marais area of Paris. It's a very hopping side of town. It's kind of in the center of everything. There's a lot of museums nearby, and I think it's pretty close to Schlumberg SLB. I can't say that the full
Yes,
word, but
it's very close. It's very close.
yeah. And the other thing too is that, like Steve said, it's open to any Rice undergraduate. And you know, there's no prerequisites, and really it's just having an interest in this course. The tuition cost is $1,800 per credit hour, and this is a 3-credit hour course. But that includes, you get housing for your whole time in taking this course, MetroCard that gets you access all over Paris, the course set excursions, so all these museum tickets and anything like that will be part of the program, and then 3 group meals and travel insurance. The residences are owned by our office, and you basically get your own apartment with its own bathroom and small kitchenette area. So you could even make some meals at home if that's a way you want to try and save money, or there's a really great side of town. There's a lot of options for that. The housing also has RAs in them, and the RAs are French, fluent in French. So they're a great resource for students if they need help with like asking questions about like groceries or anything like that. They have office hours every day, so they can talk to you if you have any issues that you need help with. If you are financial aid eligible, you're eligible to receive financial aid up to 9 credit hours a summer for 2 summers at 50% the tuition rate. I work with the financial aid office directly, so they will let me know how much financial aid you have available, and I will include that in the offer letter. So if you get into the course, I'll let you know how much financial aid you receive. But also, if you indicated that you wanted additional assistance from Rice Global, I'll also let you know how much you have at that point. And that is communicated to you, and then you get about a week to make a decision on if this program will work for you. There's also a lot of pockets of money around Rice that I can tell you about. Some of that is listed on our website, but I'm always happy to chat more. If you send me an email at pariscenter@rice.edu. Last year, I met with a lot of students just one-on-one if they had any additional questions regarding the program and how to get you there. But again, our goal is to help you as much as we can on our end to get you to Paris. So don't be shy, just apply and let us know how we can help you. And just the application deadline is January 31st. And again, if you have questions prior to that, feel free to send me an email at pariscenter@rice.edu. And just a quick look at the website again. Like Steve said, you have all this information, but just you can apply directly here where it says apply here. It takes you right to the application. The request information will get you the email paracenter@rice.edu, and we'll post this info session here. The recording, pretty much everything we've talked about is listed here. But take a look at the syllabus, like Steve said, because it breaks down a lot of things that he's wanting to do for the course. And then additionally, we do have a link to back to our student program page, which takes you to this page where you can, like Steve said, take a look at all different courses offered at the center. And then some more helpful information. We have FAQs. This has some frequently asked questions for prospective students, so it might be something that you might want to look like as you're applying. Then there's, once you're admitted, some information for pre-departure, and once you're living in Paris, there's some more info there. On top of that, our office, if you do get admitted, part of the pre-departure documents is this travel guide, and that's just a very comprehensive travel guide. Basically everything you need to know about living and studying in Paris. And so if you get into the course, you'll have access to that. But we also have this nice web page about student life in Paris. So, you know, it's a little less comprehensive than the travel guide, but just a quick and easy overview of some of things that are going to be helpful for you. So this video shows you kind of what the housing looks like, as well as the center, and just some other things about getting around Paris and etiquette and helpful French phrases. So take a look at our website and explore more. It has a lot of information that may answer any questions that come up. But always feel free to email me again at paracenter@rice.edu. Also, Steve, I'm sure, is happy to get any emails about the course itself. You can also send them to me and I can forward it to him. But we're happy to answer anything you may need about this, and hope you apply. We're excited for this course. I think it's a great opportunity. So yeah, if you have any questions, Zane.
Yeah, sure. I was just wondering if, so outside of the like the class activities that are planned, are there any like planned activities for the students as a whole, or is it more just, you know, exploring the city, doing what you want to do outside of the class?
So the program will have 3 group meals, but outside of the class, you're welcome to just find activities on your own, since there's basically going to be 3 other classes during while you're taking your class. So you're all going to be living in the residences together. So you kind of make friends really quickly, and a lot of the students just come up with outings on their own. You know, it's really easy to honestly grab. Paris is just amazing. So like you can grab a baguette and some cheese and go and have a picnic next to the Seine, or a lot of museums have certain days. Oh, there's a lot of free museums, honestly, but a lot of things you can just go see the Eiffel Tower on your own for free, you know, or just a lot of opportunities just to explore Paris. Outside of the course, you also won't have classes on the weekends, but you do have to, you know, remember to keep track of your studies. And so balance that while you're in Paris, but there's definitely the opportunity to do like exploring and also take a course.
And then I just had another question about generally how competitive is the application process for these courses?
Yeah, so we have to have a minimum of 12 students for the course to make, but we cap it at 15. But there are 15 courses. Honestly, I would say that usually the more popular time frames maybe would be like the beginning or the end of the summer. But that's a little, it's hard to gauge because like last year all our sessions, you know, filled up. So it really, it's, I would just say apply as soon as you can, get your information on there. And then we really try and get you to Paris if we can make it happen. But also there's wait lists, and then on top of that, any student that does get waitlisted, we do let them know if there's any courses that haven't filled up, for example, to see if you might be interested in taking that course instead, or, there's a lot of option, but we didn't have a huge issue about turning a ton of students away. We really, I think it was balanced pretty well. And I think especially because we have 15 courses this summer, I think I think if I would just say apply. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all right, I'm good. That's all the questions I had. So
Sure. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me again, paracenter@rice.edu. And I don't know, Steve, if you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, what I want to ask, I want to thank Irene for all the good support that you've given me so far. And Zane, I want to thank you for your demonstrated leadership today. You were the one that showed up today, which says a lot, right? And, Paris, the red clay, you're a tennis guy. I forget, I think we're going to miss the French Open, but that would be pretty cool to go play some tennis in Paris. But thank you, Zane. Do pass the word around. What I'm going to be doing, I am going to be visiting the different student organizations all the way up through January 31st. I will be posting some flyers. But Zane, thank you. And any students that are watching this, just feel free to email me. But it's going to be a great course. Paris is fantastic. I used to manage a team out of there when I was with the big company, but you'll enjoy it. And you'll also, develop your leadership in one of the most beautiful cities in the world.